What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spectator Mode Podcast. And yes, there's going to be some salt today, but in case you haven't noticed, the screen looked a little different today. Our buddy Karl, who's been out for a little bit of time, he's back. He's back. He's very much back, and it's like he hasn't skipped a beat. He's Karl. There's a lot of things going on today, and obviously the big thing is the PlayStation 5 Pro. So we're going to jump right into what we did at PAX West 2024, what we liked, and best games.
I can explain why I disappeared for a while if people are interested.
Yes. Do you want to jump into your personal business?
No, that's fine. I have no problems explaining what had happened.
The human body sucks.
Yeah, the human body sucks. Getting older sucks. Basically, the start of July, the tail end of June leading into July, I started having some back pain in my lower back. I wasn't able to sort of get up and walk around my house properly or sit for long periods of time. And then one morning after I got off the lavatorium, or the John, my body decided that it was going to go through what is called Claudia Equina syndrome. Basically, the basics of that is that a bulge disc happened in between my L5 and S1 vertebrae, so basically where the base of the spine meets the pelvic bone. And it shot, instead of shooting out like most bulging discs do, mine actually went into my spinal column and did damage to all the nerves that control everything below the waist.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
So I was in a lot of pain when that happened. Luckily, my wife called we have a system called Nurse on Call here. Basically got medical advice. They said, that doesn't sound good. We're sending an ambulance to you. They rocked up. We were able to get an MRI scan, which showed the bulging disc in my back. And I was in surgery the next day. I am now nearly 2.5 months out from the surgery that I had. And it's been one hell of a ride trying to get back. Like, even sitting here, I am in a little bit of pain. But I have been able to improve a lot in 2 months, a lot more than even my surgeon was actually surprised as to how much I was able to improve. He was expecting me to still be in a wheelchair at this stage when I saw him at the end of last month, and I actually walked into his office. So stubborn Australianness comes in handy when it comes to recovery, but at the same time,
you're a stubborn bastard.
I've still got believe me, at this point, it's very helpful. It's one of these things where I have another 15 months of recovery to go before I find out what final stage my body is going to be in. But hopefully there's an 80% success rate with the surgery that I've had, that people regain full function and are able to return to perfectly normal lives within that 18 months from the surgery.
Well,
so that's why I disappeared, is because I was in hospital and laying in my own bed, unable to.
I'm glad to see that you're doing much better, because you were like, man, when are we going to fix my body? I'm like, dude, I don't know.
I'm still like that, man. Every day I wake up and I'm still I'm waiting for the day where my body just goes like that and I'm back in normal mode. But every day I wake up and I still get moments where I sit there like, I'm doomed. I'm screwed. I'm going to end up being somewhat less than what I was. But at least it gave me a chance to play games. I actually got to knock some stuff off the backlog.
We need you to feel better so you can put together that Lego Optimus Prime that's sitting up there.
Yeah, I've got that, and I've got this sitting here as well.
Venom's not as cool as Prime. Prime is the Prime.
Prime's been sitting in his box for quite a while, and he might get a Bumblebee soon to join him.
All right. Well, we know we are limited on time today. We'll be doing another podcast later this week to talk about other things, but the big thing obviously is PlayStation. So Scott and I went to PAX West last week.
I think it
week
was
before
last
that.
week.
Week
Yeah,
before that, we got back last week.
I've been
And-
writing constantly, so I don't know.
I've been writing things. It was an interesting
Scott, you're
experience.
still at PAX, man. You're still at PAX. You never came home.
I never left.
It was actually a really cool experience for me because that was my first time going to PAX West. I never went. This is Scott's second time is going with since he's
second
been with us.
time.
And it was a great experience. Being invited to different places, like we hooked up with Bandai Namco and some of the cool PR people there, and I actually knew one of the people there for quite some time, so that was pretty cool.
I mean, you knew a lot of people that we've been showing
yeah,
up to.
I purchased I purchased business cards, which were sent to Scott. I didn't use any of those cards. I I used a handful of cards I still had, but yeah, most people were like, yeah, I know you already. I don't need your card. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, and getting invited to play some of Nintendo's games, that's like a first time ever being invited to that room of Nintendo. Like you can't go in there.
We got into the VIP section.
Yeah, it was really cool. And seeing some of the highballers that you're like, wow, these guys, and just being in the same room as them. And it's like, wow, this is really pretty cool. Like I think when we were playing Zelda, it was like Jeff Grubb and some of the people from IGN, and I can't remember who else was in that room, but it was really cool because like, wow, we're in that room.
What have I been telling you for nearly 10 years now, Keith? You put in the effort and it will eventually pay off. It will take time, but it pays off.
Unless PlayStation, but that's another story for
well,
yeah.
You gotta have some good faith with your company.
That and then I went to go play Super Mario Party Jamboree, which I ended up liking a lot more than I thought I would, but it was just being in that room and just being outnumbered because it was like the PR people were talking to these people like, hey, I know you. We're going to this thing next week. And I'm like, wow, so I'm going to get my ass kicked here, huh? Because you all know each other and you played nothing but Mario Party. And one of the guys was like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, okay, that's cool.
The Nintendo gamers.
Yeah, that was fine. That was fine. But, I ended up having a lot of fun. It didn't have a big issue being at Rome. I know I did say I wanted to talk about the games, but I do want to go on a quick tangent real quick. I really do think, and Karl's going to chime in, that Repop needs to do something in regards to the media. This is something that I've been complaining about for years going to PAX East. You give us an hour on the first day of the event, and that is literally it. When people are trying to get down on the floor to make appointments or talk to people, or like the people at PAX, the Path of Exile, like come down here early in the morning and we'll talk about more stuff. I'm like, I couldn't come down. Sunday, they stopped me. It was like, no, you can't go on the floor. I'm like, dude, I got to go down and go talk to these guys. And they're like, no, you can't go. And I'm like,
yep.
Well, that sucks. And I know the time the doors open, first they said, they let me in early on Saturday because there was some kind of issue. So they brought everybody in early. But Sunday, they were like, you need to wait until the general line gets in there and then the press line can go. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. We're here to cover this event. Why are you stopping me from going down to the floor? And like, and I'm like, look, I understand you're an enforcer. I'm not getting upset at you. I know it's not your call, but it's a dumbass call. So here I am yet again complaining. I'm going to send it to Repop. I'm going to send an article that I'm writing to Repop and go, look, this is dumb. And there were other people from press and PR and various other places. They're like, look, we got stuff to do. We need to get downstairs. One guy got lucky because as he was going in and waiting, one of the people he had to interview with was like, hey, he's with me. We got to go downstairs. And he got in. But everybody else was like, well, we're stuck here. That was probably my biggest issue with PAX West. That in the Monster Hunter Wilds line was just continually lying. I couldn't get in there. I was like, I couldn't get in to play the game. I was very frustrated. One of the games I wanted to play, like when we got there day one for press, and we were sitting in the line, and then like, okay, go. Then I got there. I'm like, how did all these people get in front of me? Where were they at? They weren't in front of me before. But other than that, PAX West was pretty cool. I liked it. I didn't like the fact that only place to eat was pretty much Cheesesteak Factory. on the
Yeah. The only place outside of the actual PAX marketplace, which the PAX
That was it.
marketplace
That
is
was
not
it.
all
That was
that good
terrible.
anyways.
But the confusion about being in one room and they have to go to another room, and if you want to have interviews in some places, they go downstairs. And like, where am I going? If you had a Fitbit or something, you were getting your steps in. That's for damn sure. But it was fun. I met a lot of cool people. People I didn't know before. People I did know before. Played a lot of cool games. It wasn't as I don't think this one is as big as PAX East, but it also didn't have the same kind of pop off because it just happened right after Gamescom, which really sucked.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that I see at PAX East weren't there, but
yeah, even like the press releases we got were always combined with the Gamescom. It's like, here's the PAX West / Gamescom press release for this, and it's just like we just brought the same demo to both places.
Yeah, pretty much, but it wasn't bad. It I don't know if I'm going to go back, especially since if it's going to stay right after Gamescom, that's pretty much killing it, and I hope that doesn't kill it. But I think I'm going to stay going to PAX East just because PAX East usually has more, especially next year when they moved it away from a GDC. So it's like a whole month after GDC, which is great. What about you, Scott?
So I went to last year's PAX West, and I think this year's was a huge step up. But that's also because last year Nintendo took over half of both the buildings that were there, and they took it in the worst places of both of them were at, so that you couldn't have the Sky Bridge, you couldn't have some of the locations that we had in this building this year. So you had to basically go all the way around to go to a separate building, and rather than just using the Sky Bridge to go through.
And I remember you saying that. But I was looking I was going, oh man, I hope Nintendo doesn't do something weird. But we got into Nintendo's booth, so it didn't really make a difference. They're like, did you play up there? No. Okay, it's fine. You're playing the stuff right here. Like, okay, fine. That works for me. I don't care.
I did find it funny that we had a lot anytime we do the behind closed doors type of press demo builds, we'd always get asked, did you check the one upstairs? It's like, no, there's lines up there. Why would we do that?
Can't get in line. It's not happening. No. And you're like,
we have maybe 30 minutes between different appointments. If there's any that have lines, we're basically skipping them.
Yeah, and that happened a couple of times. But we didn't skip. We had to reschedule.
Yeah, we would schedule mainly. So, but yeah, I generally only did a few of the actual ones that had to get in lines, but otherwise I basically just only did press appointments, which I think was good, except for the fact now I have 30 games I got to write about.
Yeah, still writing about stuff. It's crazy.
Oh no, content. How bad is that?
I mean,
it's
you don't understand. It's the content which you got to get out there. Plus, they're like, oh hey, here's a game code for review. Here's a game code for review. Here's another game code from guys. I get it.
Hold on. You said I don't understand. I don't understand.
I know what
you're
the
guy who handles all of Australia's
There we go.
shit. I don't understand what it's like to be bombarded with press releases and review codes and everything after a convention.
Look, I'm not
going to PAX Australia for 10 fucking years.
I am not bitching about this. I love the fact that that's happening. I am totally not bitching. It's just a lot. It gets to the point where it's like, I wish we had a couple more of us that were, I wish you had somebody there for you so you wouldn't complain as much. I really do. But
I've tried, but no one's interested in running around Australia with me except my wife.
Being at PAX West, I was constantly going, man, we need one more person here right now. Yeah. One more person. And I did think it was weird that the press room was pretty much empty for most of the time.
It was, but the press room itself just felt like it was just
because everybody's running around
and two tables.
Yeah, because everybody in the press room is running around doing interviews and lining up to get their hands on the games and everything else. Because that's the other you were complaining about things with PAX earlier. I hate to pull this card, but I wish that media were allowed to line skip.
Yeah.
Because if we're there, especially if we're there to, gain contacts, cover the products and stuff like that. Having to stand and wait in a 2-hour line really kills what we can do.
Yeah.
As you guys know, every minute is scheduled down to the minute.
Yes.
And when you have to take what you would usually use as your sort of relaxed day, I don't know what you guys did. Like I took a day where I just went around the convention.
Relaxed day. What was that?
As an actual convention
I
goer.
initially had a relaxed day, but we had to schedule like 2 different appointments after
that's
and during it because of it.
That's it. Like the amount of times my phone will go off while I'm meant to be like trying to just wander around the convention hall, and it's like, hey, we got this coming up. Would you like to come and see it?
Yeah.
But like I wish we could lie and skip. Everything Keith said, like with getting access for the days. I cop the same thing down here. We get the 1 hour on the Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we're told you have to line up in the general admission queue.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb.
I found if I go to the PR rep that's on site and go, hey, I've got this, they're not letting me through. They'll turn around and they'll go, oh yeah, screw that. We're going to take you in.
Yeah, that wasn't happening here. That wasn't happening here. They were stern. You're not.
The other thing is, like, the enforcers need to, or the volunteers, because I hate the fact that they call them enforcers, because that gives them a gigantic inflated sense of ego.
Oh, you want to talk about ego?
Because the volunteers, they need to realize that they're there to volunteer and essentially just keep lines moving. They're not there to tell people what they can and cannot do.
So let's talk about that. So I was there. I had an interview, and I had an interview with Justin Woodward from the Mix, and we were talking about the Jay and Silent Bomb Chronic Blunt Punch game. So we were recording directly in front of the booth, so we can see the game in the interview. And we were mid in the interview, and I want to say maybe 8 minutes into the interview, one of the enforcers comes up and goes, "Move!" Literally, move. And we're like, "Dude, we're right here in front of the booth. Move!" Messed up the interview. We had to go switch it up, go inside the area where it was noisier and more people running in and out. Thankfully, Mo was there, manning the camera, and I was really pissed off because I'm like, these are all these people on this lane you haven't touched, but we're doing this interview and you stopped me.
Yeah, there is some sort of hostility within those that are being the volunteers. Like, they take the term enforcer way too seriously, and they believe that they run the convention, not the people who are running the individual booths. And like I've had the same experience that you just had with that when I was standing inside the booth.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you're holding other people up. Get out of the way. I'm like, no, I've been invited by these people to do this interview to help sell this product. I'm not moving. Oh, well, I'll kick you out of the convention. I said, try it.
But the thing that really pissed me off, right? If you went past the what was it, Zenless Zone 0 booth?
Yeah,
you couldn't get past because everybody's right. They're like converging in that lane, and I'm like,
"Yep,
you're gonna get
these guys." And God forbid you want to need to get anywhere when a booth is doing giveaways.
Oh no!
The second somebody goes, "Hey, we're doing a free giveaway,"
there's a booth
thousands of people will gather around the booth, blocking up the entire pathway, and you will not be able to get through. And the enforcers do nothing.
Yeah, that was.
If you have a camera or something and you stand 1 millimeter out of a booth, suddenly you're public enemy number one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, I'm going to find it even harder this year because of my back surgery and everything. I still can't walk around and stand all day.
Dude, no, so you need to go get a medical. Get a medical.
I've got all my stuff. Don't worry about it.
Because they were getting pushed to the front lines and everything.
I've got a medical. I'll get all the medical stuff sorted. I've got a mobility scooter that I'm hiring for the weekend, and I expect to be sitting there like a little old lady in bumper to bumper traffic on a Sunday, going -3 fucking miles per hour.
I just don't want to hear you come back and go, Karl ran over like 15 people. I'm like, oh well.
Oh, I'll run over them. I don't care.
Heard that song from Ludacris, didn't you?
And you know what the thing is? I'm going to print up labels and brand the little scooter the Outerhaven mobile.
The Outerhaven.
I better see pictures of that.
That's going to be
cool. It'll be done. We're working on it at the moment. But
for the interest of time.
Anyway,
I'm gonna cap it at 3.
Oh, that's
yeah, exactly. Yeah, your ass 3. What were some of your favorite games at PAX West?
So number one, the one that I've always will say is my favorite, regardless of which one I go to, is the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
There he goes.
I absolutely love how it's going to be, how it's becoming even more and more polished. The build that we played at PAX was even more polished with the models, the characters, the lighting, as well as one thing that I noticed pretty early on is they actually amped up the AI of the enemies. So they were actually doing stuff and like swapping and actually doing super moves rather than just being like punching bags. So that was really fun. Number 2, I'd have to say one that surprised me that I went to during Square Enix was the Romancing Saga 2 Revenge of the Seven. The Saga series for me is always like a mixed bag. There's some really good games on that series. There's some really games that make it really difficult to play the game because there's so much RNG in the actual game itself of how like you levels up stats, how you level up based on like your skill set and everything. But the way that they do it with Revenge of the Seven is really polished. It's a little more streamlined. It makes a lot more sense. The glimmer aspect doesn't feel as much of a you're lucky if you get a skill, you're not lucky if you're not kind of a deal. And number 3, I'd have to say probably Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom.
I'm sorry I was capping you there. Good. I know you would. I'm surprised you didn't say and I'm gonna butcher his name. Was it Realis?
What's it called?
I know I butchered that name. Realis.
Probably. I need Reynaudis. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Reynaudis.
That one was a good one, but I didn't actually get to play it there because of how the NAS America appointment kind of kept getting butchered all and over the place. That was the one game I had to skip there, but I did play the other 3 ones, which we did have the Trails Through Daybreak 2, which was also really fun and engaging. I really love the Trail series, and I do think that they added a lot of things to make that game itself also a lot more difficult in terms of balance and good balance, because in the first Daybreak, you could break the game really easily by just putting your character as basically a CP booster, which allows like your ability to just spam S-crafts over and over and over again. But they made it so you can no longer do more than one S-craft during a single boost, which makes it a lot easier in sense of not being able to spam S-crafts all the time, which is like the super moves. But basically, yes. I also love everything that I got to witness at the NS America booth.
That's cheating.
Yes.
He's doing the entire booth. That's cheating, but it's fine.
Well, yeah, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, I'd say, is the number 3. I really enjoyed how they utilized Echoes. I really enjoyed how they utilized a creative response to be able to solve any problem with any kind of different solution. Even if my entire solution turned to be just throwing rocks at anything and making sure I could hit it.
He was surprising the people at the
PR people were like, "What if why is he not trying this?" It's like he's actually doing stuff with the rocks. Let him do it.
Yeah.
And I did most of the puzzles with just extra rocks. I can throw 3 rocks. Just watch.
And they're like, "You can go do this." He's like, "No, I'm just gonna throw rocks at it." And he's just throwing rocks, and they're like, "Huh?" Like, yeah, he just do rocks.
If I bounce it this way, I can hit him from the back without needing a distraction.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting if they talk about this. There was this one guy that was throwing rocks at everything. Like, yep, we know who that was. It's a little bit harder for me, just because I went into PAX West not expecting a lot of stuff other than the 2 games I wanted to play and one I didn't touch at all. So since I didn't get a chance to play, I didn't get a chance to play Monster Hunter Wilds, which all right. So definitely Path of Exile 2. I love the fact that the control support is amazing. I did an interview on the floor with them as well as a hands-on preview. The game is leaps and bounds better than playing the first Path of Exile if you played it. Control support, as I mentioned, is really good. Game is coming to the handhelds. So Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Legion Go. The developers on the floor were super, super helpful. Really nice guys. Really good. So definitely Path of Exile 2. The J and Silent Bob was actually a game I enjoyed. I didn't expect to do as much, but the game, it's more than just a beat 'em up. They actually modeled the game off of fighting games. So there's a lot of combos and things you can do in the game, which is really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the game come out. And to be honest, no disrespect to Power Rangers, the play style was a lot more interesting than what Power Rangers was. So there's that. What would I say the last one was? And this is the problem. There's so many different games. I would have to say, and this is really weird, Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Oh, you liked it that much, huh?
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the fact that it has online. It has decent online. It has
That's
decent
the
online.
trick. Nintendo online games are very hit or miss.
So a lot of game modes, a lot of mini games. It just played so good. And I'm like, wow, this could be a game that my family and I can play. Because trying to get my family to play a game, it's just like, no, we don't want to play.
There was that photo that got posted in our Nintendo chat today of like somebody frying up a steak in the game.
Yes. So one of the mini games is cutting a steak in half, and you have to get as close as you can to 50%. And when we played that, one of the guys got close to 50% twice. He was losing, and he did that, and it's like, oh, I won now. Like, I was barely holding on. He's like, yep, I win now. I'm like, God,
that's the way the Mario parties.
So, yeah, that was fun. There's also the offline mode one. There was a giant wiggler on the map, and I walked over to the wiggler. I'm going to take a shortcut. So I wanted a wiggler. Then they were like, oh, by the way, if the person buys this item, he can ring a bell and make the wiggler start moving, and it'll end up taking you back to where you started. And
yep.
As soon as I did that, somebody hit the bell and did it and made me go back. Well, then somebody got stuck in the trap or something, and they forced them to ring the bell again. So I was like, oh, so I'm right back where I started. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I wish I could have played it more, but we didn't get a chance to. So yeah, there was a lot of great games there, a lot of great indie games as well.
I've got to ask about one particular game.
Go ahead.
Power Rangers Rita's Revenge.
Okay.
How was it?
It's pretty solid.
What do you want to know? Be specific.
Okay. Let's compare it to the last time that we all actually sat around and played a video game, which was the TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
You're gonna be frustrated.
I'm gonna be frustrated.
Yeah.
Not as good.
It's good, but the combat isn't as
it's a little more simple than Shredder's Revenge. I think they put a lot more emphasis on like previous beat 'em ups and like the Super Nintendo era, whereas Shredder's Revenge kind of just branched out into a whole new like, I guess, generation of beat 'em ups by utilizing just more of like the sprites and the reworks of the Super Nintendo, but added a lot more actual like tech and techniques and strategies you could do. The Power Rangers Rita's Rewind made it a lot more simplistic.
Yeah, that's the word.
But the one thing that they did do also is you can't do like in Shredder's Revenge, you can use the taunt to basically spam super attacks all the time. In Rita's Rewind, you can't do that because taunting only gets you like 1/10 of your taunt meter up.
Yeah.
So in other words, they looked at Shredder's Revenge and went, that loophole, we're going to close that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. Like when you're hitting somebody, you can't juggle them. If they hit the ground, you can't hit them back off the ground. Yeah. It's not a bad thing. It's just if you play like Shredder's Revenge or Streets of Rage 4 and you're like, wow, these are really cool beat 'em ups that are having a resurgence, and then you go play Rita's Revenge, it's like, well, okay, I kind of expected this game to have that as well. It's not a bad game.
No.
And we only saw
the first level, the game. Basically.
We didn't get to see the Megazord levels or the other levels, so
there's a lot more that we haven't experienced, and maybe like you get later techs in the game with each level, or when you unlock like more of the Megazord or whatever. But what we experienced, it was very simple. You had like a punch control, you had a kick control, and you could use a direction to change that up, and that was basically all the techs you could do.
Well, I will tell you, I did write an article about it. Definitely check that out. But the entire team who is developing the game are fans of the series.
If you're a Power Rangers fan, though, if you want to understand how it fits into the series, it does a pretty decent job of explaining itself. So
Yeah.
At least if you're one of those people who are like, I want more to learn about the Power Rangers world, this is the game for you.
Yeah. And it takes right after the Netflix. There's a flag.
Yeah, the Netflix 20th
Oh,
anniversary of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie is
Yeah.
where this takes place in.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure
there's not very many games that I'm looking forward to this year, but that is one of the ones
I think you'll enjoy it.
I'll look at
I
it.
think you'll enjoy it. If you're not as hypercritical as I was, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And even like I said, it wasn't bad. I was just a little frustrated with that.
Expecting more out of it, considering the beat 'em ups we got in the past like 2 years now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's literally it. That was it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, check out our articles. We got a lot of articles over the Outerhaven talking about our PAX West adventure, and we got more coming. So there's that. But I guess we're going to go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid. Here we go. Today, the PlayStation 5 Pro was officially revealed, and the pricing for the system was also revealed. We had Mark Cerny come on and go, "Hey guys, we're going to give you more tech, and the GPU is better, and memory is a little faster, and put a 2 terabyte drive in, and oh, by the way, it doesn't come with a disk drive."
Yeah.
And it's $699, which, by the way, I wrote an article, and I've been saying this for the last couple months. This thing is going to be $700. And people kept telling me I was crazy.
Yep.
This is the return of arrogant Sony.
Xbox already knew they were going to lose, so they just kicked in the towel completely. And now PlayStation is just going all in on that fact.
I mean, if we didn't see this going the wrong way, I was telling these freaking console warriors on Twitter, like, look, the second Xbox goes, hey, look, we're giving up on the hardware space, which we don't know their intentions.
They haven't officially said that, but with how they're managing their Xbox hardware, it kind of looks that way.
And then they were like, hey, we're going to raise the price of our DualSense controllers. Like, why are you doing that? And now they go, hey, by the way, our new system is $700. But keep in mind, if you need a stand, because if you don't have a PlayStation 5 Slim, which uses the same stand, it's another $30. If you don't have the disk drive, which is the same one for the PlayStation Slim, it's $70. And I forgot you need to go online to use that damn disk drive.
Yeah, you need to go online in order to pair it. But once it's paired, apparently it's fine. But just having to pair it makes it a whole DRM issue itself.
I am so sorry, Karl. I see that face. I see it. I'm so sorry, man.
At least they give you the option, unlike another company.
I am not impressed with what we saw.
No,
I know a lot of people on Twitter and other places were going, "Yeah, this is amazing." I'm like, this.
It's not.
They didn't show us
isn't.
anything.
What you get for that 700, or if you're in Australia, $1,200 fucking dollars.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Could you play that a little louder?
$1,200 just for the console. It's $160 for the drive. It will be $50 for the stand. And the controller price right now, $130.
You know, I really hope this comes with a controller, because people are like, and you got to buy another controller. Like,
it would be controllers.
It better come with a controller.
No, I have a controller. That's extra.
I have not heard of a console that didn't come with a controller. If it does not come with a controller, there's a problem. But the problem,
don't you already have controllers at home, Keith? Don't you already have controllers at
home?
Don't
you guys have
buy the PS5 already?
There's not everybody's not me, and I'm literally on the fence of buying a PlayStation 5 Pro, because I was talking to the wife and I was like, "Hey, look, if I take my PlayStation 5 and I take it to GameStop, I still basically have to pay like $400 something for it.
$350 trade-in credit at GameStop.
Well, I'm still a pro, because I was
so you'd get
Game
like
Informer that doesn't exist anymore. So I was a pro. So it's $385. But who knows if they're going to change that or raise it or lower.
That's ridiculous. Like, it doesn't even. Oh,
you know, and
I know in the US it's like half the price of the console. I'd be lucky if I got $400 here.
Mm-hmm.
Which still means I need to fork out $800 just for the console itself. And let's be honest, all the stuff that they were touting, the faster GPU speed and the we combined ray tracing or whatever it is, and the AI crap,
AI-driven upscaling.
AI-driven upscaling. It's not worth it.
No.
It is not worth shelling out for a whole new console or even trading your previous console in to buy this version.
No.
Because let's be honest, there's not going to be many games that are going to take advantage of this. It'll be the same thing as the PS4 Pro. Oh, we got all these games that take advantage of the PS4 Pro. Well, I can still play them on my PS4.
So...
and a lot of this, what's happening here is, I get the buzzwords and I understand the fans are happy. They're like, PlayStation is the best. And I'm like, but they didn't really show us anything. They talked the big game, but we really didn't get to see anything. Now, if you gave me a video of the games being played and actually gave me an actual video that I can use to see the big difference, because apparently somebody from CNET was able to play it and go back between it and the PlayStation 5. And I wasn't really, I didn't like the way that they were writing the article because it didn't give me enough information as to.
It didn't explain anything, but I do think I liked the way that article gave more things than the presentation did. The presentation left a lot of stuff on the table.
Yeah.
And that one actually get clarified a lot more, because basically the way that they were saying, like in like the press release, like, well, 8K VR is going to be natively supported, all this. And it's just like, how? What are you doing?
Who the hell wants to play a game at 8K? That's
Who's buying a PS5 Pro to play 8K in their living room?
That's not even do that. That's not even do that. But the big thing here,
but then you've also got, we are including a 2 terabyte hard drive. Well, if you're going with higher resolution and higher frame rates and all that stuff, those games are gonna be bigger. 200 gig games. That 2 terabyte drive won't mean jack shit.
Here's Call of Duty might actually fit on one of the Pros.
Here's my thing. When they said that, when they said there's a 2 terabyte drive, and I'm like, it's not an Xbox Series X. I can go buy a 2 terabyte drive. How much of the cost are you passing down to us?
Yeah,
a 2 terabyte drive at the moment is about 215 Australian dollars, probably about 120, 130 US. It's not even, it's one of those things of, this is going to cost us a tiny bit, but we're going to charge it double just
exactly. But the big thing is, and people, I've been trying to stress this out to people, they're not understanding this. They're not giving you a physical disk drive. They're not giving you a disk drive.
No.
They are telling you
got to buy your own.
Hey, by the way,
so basically, all these things up on the top row that I have here,
there you go,
will become redundant when that console comes out.
All you people,
and all of that you won't be able to put on any other console anymore unless you want to shell out extra for it.
All the laughing and the pointing and the whatever you want to say towards Xbox, because Xbox is like, hey, we're going to do a diskless console. PlayStation just done it and just laughed at you.
Yeah.
Yep. Unless you go and buy the disc drive for an additional $80.
And well, that's even then. As you said, you have to go online to use that disc drive.
Just
so obviously there's DRM stuff. So there will come a time where you get something, say, I don't know, you've got a copy of Deadpool on PS4 and you want to play it on your PS5. You pop that disc in, and because the license is no longer valid, all of a sudden Sony goes, sorry, you can't even play it off the disc anymore.
And I don't want people to think that I'm complaining about, because I'm complaining for the spite of complaining. I'm generally concerned. I am not in the position of most people. I can go in and buy it. I'm not going to just go, hey, here's $700 to buy a console. No. Who the hell is going to, outside of the loyal PlayStation fan base, which does exist, and people that got to have everything because it's new, who is going to go and spend $700 on a console?
Yeah, it's not worth the upgrade either if you're a PlayStation 5 owner already. So this is not going to be a console geared towards those who own a PS5. This is going to be geared towards people who are still on the fence, I guess, between a PS4 or a PS5. But even then, this is still too much of an ask.
This feels like a luxury item
for those that are still on here's a little bit of advice for those that are still on the fence about a PS4 and a PS5. Keep your PS4.
Go back to PS3.
I mean, you can get a PlayStation 5. What was it for $399 pre-owned now? So, but
yeah, the refurbished ones.
yeah, they're
look
still
pretty
refurbished
decent
now.
Who cares?
So
that's
Who
the
cares?
price cut. You get a refurbished.
You know what the problem is? PS5 has no games.
Oh, we're not doing that. Let's not do that.
nah, PS5.
No, I'm
does have
not
games.
fucking. It has games, but how many of them are still coming out on PS4?
It
a
still
lot of
has
them.
quite a few. Yes.
You have like maybe one or two, like maybe like Stellar Blade, Astrobot, stuff like that come out exclusively on PS5. But the percentage of PS5 exclusive games compared to what is PS4, PS5 compatible,
Yeah.
is like less than 5%.
You still
Yeah,
have new
that's-
third-party games gearing for like
that's the
PS4 as
problem.
the base model.
That
So
whole
that is
generation
a
thing just
problem,
went
but
out the
that will
window.
always be an issue as long as PS4 is still as
Exists.
high install base and
Yeah.
player base as it is.
Yep.
No one's gonna just cut off PS4 and third-party world just because.
No.
No.
But as I was saying, this is a luxury console. This is for people that are like, I want to have the best of the best. But they haven't proven to us that this is really going to give you the best. Like, if this is going to give you maybe 10 more frames with ray tracing, I don't know. And there are people out there going, well, you can go build a PC for this price. No, you can't. Please stop
No, stop.
Please
this.
stop. that. We're not. No, we're
I have
we're
a
not
PC
doing
game.
this.
I know how that works. That's
not
if
how
you were
this works.
spending $700 on a PC, you're skipping out on either a GPU or on a CPU. And if
You're building
skipping out
a
on either of
shitty
those.
computer, and you don't want that because you'll be the person to buy. You'll be the person that pays for a shitty PC and then come back around and go, I can't play no games on it. The games play like crap. Well, you brought a shitty PC. That's not how this works. PC is a completely different brand or a machine, and yes, it is a machine that you have to pay money to get better performance. That's how it is. I'm sorry. That's like this buying a Ferrari and buying a. Give me a
now.
sheet,
If this is helping you
But
upgrade
the thing
your
is,
PC,
with a PC, you can spend that same $700 and get you something that is going to be better than a PS5.
The only argument that I have against that is you don't have these PlayStation 5 games for PC yet.
Yet.
There. Yet.
It's
I
gonna
don't
happen
agree.
eventually.
I can't tell people what to do with their money, but in both articles I wrote about the PlayStation 5, I literally tried to stress this is not worth it. This is not worth it.
No.
Do not do this, especially people that are really struggling or they're like, do I need to buy this or this? You don't need a PlayStation 5 Pro. They haven't even shown us anything yet. That's the kicker. There are so many people going, I need this. They haven't shown you anything.
They showed you what the console looks like, and they gave you promises of basically what it will do. But we only have one hands-on preview that's out in the wild that I can find. It looks like there's supposed to be more, but I guess they didn't get published yet.
Yeah, see, that's the only one.
And I reckon the big thing that also hurt it was the Grand Theft Auto 6 release date.
That's the thing everybody keeps pushing. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to look amazing. Guys, we have no idea, one, when that game is coming out.
Doesn't matter.
Two, we don't know how it's going to run on that machine. It'll be a kicker if it runs like marginally better. And I'm not trying to downgrade or disrespect the PlayStation, whatever you want to say.
But by default, they need to have it running at least on a PS5 standard.
Yes, they do.
Exactly.
So the improvement that you're going to get on a PS5 Pro for Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be minimal at best.
So Scott, Digital Foundry did get access to the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Oh, they did?
Okay. They did. I'm looking at the video right now. I haven't.
So they were just
comments.
flouting themselves when they were saying that on Twitter.
I think they do that a lot.
That's true. They as much as they say that they don't like playing up like their console warriorness, they do play that up to get more views. But at the same, when you actually look at the stuff, they still do good work.
I'm just trying to get a handle on the comments and what this actually means. But part of me is like, I really don't want to get the PlayStation 5 Pro, and a lot of people are like, well, don't buy it, like I said. But at the same time, we are a gaming site.
Yeah,
Which
we might want to
sucks.
be able to have both to test, but at the same day, I kind of don't want to have both to
No.
test. It's like me going on the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally to be like, well, the ROG Ally does do it better with the whole like 5 frames. No,
Well, since we're talking about the I put on Bazit, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
BAZZICE, and I'm like, I'm gonna sell my Steam Deck. There's no reason to have a Steam Deck if you have a ROG Ally. Put that on.
Send it to me.
It'll never get to you.
Send it to me, along with the turtles.
It'll never get to you. I forgot those in my attic.
He's gonna have to like do a day trip to go to Australia for like a week. No, get all the things to keep the Karl that he needs.
Damn right.
But at the end of the day, again, we're not all here to go, hey, this thing sucks. But there's just too many negative things surrounding this system. We don't know the performance. You want way too much freaking money for it, and you're like, people are going to buy it. And I hope to hell that the gamers are going to go, no, we're not going to buy it. But you know they're going to. They're going to buy it anyway. They're going to buy any damn.
People bought the portable in spades, and that was a mess too.
The cashed up whales are going to buy this in droves.
Yeah,
and those that need the greatest and latest everything, hello, anybody who has an iPhone.
Speaking of iPhone,
it's one of let's
we don't want to get the new iPhone either. No,
no, the 16 Pro. That's just a 15 Pro with different colors.
But
like the thing is, like when I got my PS5, I had to scrimp and save and like trade in so much to get that console. I don't want to have to do that again for a Pro version that at maximum might give you an extra little bit of a sharper picture on a TV screen. I hate these Pro. I hated the PS4 Pro revision. I've hated, if you want to slim the consoles down, no problems. But slim them down, make them more powerful. Then it's worth buying. But bringing out a slim and then going, oh yeah, we're also bringing out a Pro that's doing more stuff. It's like, well, what's the point of bringing out a slim? It's just terrible marketing. The prices are too high, and I'll state it again: the exclusive games are not there, as much as people won't want to admit it. And I can't in good faith recommend this to anyone at all. Like they needed to make sure that the library was there before they did this, but they haven't done that. No, all they're selling is a bunch of promises, and I'm sure there's people who went out there and bought the PS4 Pro would probably turn around and go, hey, guess what? There wasn't that much difference between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to sneeze, so ignore the face. I'm really trying not to sneeze here. And yes, I bought the PlayStation 4 Pro, and I was not amused.
Keith's allergic to bullshit. That's what it is. He's sneezing because he's allergic to bullshit. But
I was not amused.
I skimmed through the presentation. And I stopped when they did some comparisons, and they're like, oh, you can see these things in the background slightly sharper than what it was on the PS5. I'm like, I don't give a flying rat's ass about the things in the background.
Digital Foundry nonsense on this presentation.
And the thing that really aggravated me with that is this is Mark Cerny, right? This is a guy who people hold at high prestige. He knows what he's doing. He's a very smart individual, and he's just like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, did you want to be here? Did you really want to talk to us in a 9-minute video, or did you actually want to talk for hours on end?
Knowing you probably want to talk for hours on
9
end.
minutes was not enough time.
9 minutes.
BS. Complete BS.
When you look at like his take breakdowns of like the PS5 in the early days when it was like 2 hours of him just going on and on about the tech that he loved, and then you look at this one where it's just like, yeah, we're bringing you 45% more frames.
Cool. So instead of being able to barely handle 30 frames constantly, it'll handle 31 frames constantly.
The beef that I have is you promised us the PlayStation 5 would be the system that we wanted. And
Yeah.
we got in 4.5 years, and it's like, oh no, it's not the system that we wanted. We need to give you guys a mid refresh. But this may last another 2-3 years before you go, hey, PlayStation 6 is here.
Like 2026 or 2027 is most likely when the next gen starts.
Because they gave us the PlayStation 4 Pro in, what was it? 2019? No, when was it?
No,
I actually wrote this up. Let me go back. I actually wrote this up because I had to go dig this up. Because I was like, guys, come on, this is ridiculous. Where is it? Where's my article?
See, I'm not even ready for a PS6 yet.
That's PlayStation 4.
If they're looking to do a PlayStation 6 in the next 2-3 years.
2016 is when the Pro came out.
Yeah, and then the PlayStation 5 was announced in 2019 and came in 2020. So barely 4 years.
Yep.
And we're going to see less this time.
Yep.
So we're gonna I'm sorry, but they're barely taking advantage of the PS5.
No, I don't think they are.
People are already going, oh well, PS6 is soon. I don't understand.
I agree with you.
Like there's been not enough games that take advantage of it.
Yeah, the problem we have now in the DMing side is how like games take up to 6 years to make. So it's basically most of the games that they wanted to be able to
are going to skip the generation. Yep. It's and then it feels like you have developers that are like, I don't want to put the time and effort. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of developers that have put in a shit ton of optimization, and you can see the gains. But then there are other ones that go. I think the other ones that go.
There'll be ones that'll be sitting around going, well, what's the point in making something for the PS5 when we know the PS6 is coming in the next 4 years? So if we start development now, what we're going to be putting out will possibly be on the PS6.
Like cross-gen.
Yeah, or cross-gen again, because it'll... And that's the thing. You'll be extending the cross-gen.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me that they're not going to turn around and go, oh, we're going to completely lock off the PS4.
No, they're not. As long as people are playing on the system and playing on the system,
you'll have a PS4, PS5, PS6 cross-bundle thing.
Does that not just sound like a nightmare?
It does.
I mean, it sounds like the early years of the PS4. If you don't remember, like when licensed third-party games would come out for the PS2, the PS3, the PS4, the Nintendo Switch, the GameCube, the Wii, the GameCube, like the Game Boy Advance versions, the Nintendo DS versions. Like it was a mess, and every game was like different.
Yeah. It's like the PS2, PS3 crossover era where the PS2 games were lesser games and done completely differently compared to the PS3 games. That'll be PS4 games on the PS6.
And it didn't help that like the PS
and it still won't have backwards compatibility.
Oh no, that's not talking about that.
It still won't have backwards compatibility, and it'll be a digital only console that you must pay PlayStation Plus at the top tier in order to play.
So I think we're all in agreement that we don't need this.
No,
Sony has shot off their foot, their leg, and everything else with this announcement today. I am sorry, it is. They have really, really gone up shit creek without a paddle.
I will at least say every time I've seen a poll about are you going to buy the PlayStation 5 Pro, everybody's like no.
We're
not going to buy it.
Because
I'm voting on all of those polls.
We're in a worldwide cost of living crisis at the moment. People are barely able to afford food, let alone a $700/$1,200 console. So of course everybody's going to turn around and go no. I hope Sony realizes this and goes, okay, let's do a price drop quickly in order to entice people, or do a deal with GameStop where they do a higher trade-in rate or something. Because people are not going to buy this outright. People are not going to trade in their old consoles for it.
No.
So this was the dumbest. This is a dumb move.
The only way I can see this changing is if they come out with something that's like, you need to buy this system because this game plays like this, and they don't have a game that does it. And Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't coming out anytime soon. That would be the only game I can think of. They go, buy this system now.
Yeah.
And even then, I still wouldn't. I still buy the standard PS5 version.
It's gonna run.
Or I do like just about everybody else will probably do and wait for it to come out on PC.
Speaking of that, I mean,
never underestimate the Steam user base.
you announce the game for PlayStation and Xbox and go, screw you, PC guys. But then when you bring out the PC version for Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like after you fix it, it's like, oh my god, this is so good. Why did you wait so long? I don't know. I don't know.
Because they have to wait until they're doing Great GTA Online 2.
Oh no.
Let's not even talk about that.
Because that's going to be half the game.
Yeah, that probably will. They've earned too much money at the first one not to have it in the second one.
Yep.
But yeah, it's we don't think you should buy this system right now. I know I'm not being disrespectful to you, but if you're pro Sony and you don't care about what people that have a mind are trying to tell you, then I guess you have
wait. If you're going to buy it, then you're going to want to trade in like your PS5 plus other stuff,
plus all your physical games. You aren't going to be able to play.
Plus all you might as well drop all your physical games because that's exactly what's going to happen. You're gonna have to drop all your physical games and your PlayStation 5, get whatever you can out of that if you want to buy it. But I'm saying if you can't get over 60-70% of the cost in your trade-in value, don't bother and wait maybe 12 months, 18 months after the release date and see if they do a price drop.
So somebody asked me on Twitter, and it's a great question. So, what will a generation leap from the PlayStation 5 Pro cost on PlayStation 6? $800 to $900.
Yes.
I would say $1,000.
Going by the trends, that.
Well, this is the thing. Like I watched. I was watching some reactions to this announcement, and the one that got me most surprised was Asmongold. As much as Keith's eye twitches whenever I mention that name because he does not like the band, he pulled up the PS4 launch prices. The PS4 at launch was $399.
Yep.
It's almost doubled in price.
Yes,
in one console generation. So, if the price is it's $700 now, I would expect the PS6 to be a flat $1,000 or $999.99.
That's why I said $100. I don't disagree.
Which means that in Australia, that thing is going to be nearly $2,000.
No. Steve,
At that point, I will be turning around, going into Sony's offices, kicking the door in, and smacking every bitch in there.
No. Steve, what you don't get is when it gets to that point, most people with a brain will go, so for $1,000, I can get a decent gaming PC.
Now the decent gaming PC part comes out.
Get the PC.
You can get like a $1,200 laptop that can run at 1080p or even 1440p decently. So
yeah,
now you do it.
You don't need 4K with laptop display.
And that'll be the thing. If it's a $1,000 for the PS6 or whatever, and people are going, well, now I can buy a PC. There's no difference between the two anymore.
See, the funny
because
thing
the PS6 will be an all digital console. I can almost guarantee it.
It's going to be an all digital console. It's going to be all digital. You see what they're doing right now. But
Sony's going to kill themselves out of the market.
External
going back to the PC for just a moment, and looking at the prices right now, and we're looking at the trends of the consoles and seeing that this is $700 minus accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't people buy a gaming PC? And I'm not trying to say people need to go buy a gaming PC, because I will continue to say PC gaming is not for everybody. But That's still
consoles are there for those who do not know how to build their own PCs.
They want to do the plug and plays if you're a console.
They just want to sit down, push the on button, play a game.
Yep.
They don't want to have to worry about driver updates. They don't have to worry about operating system updates. They don't want to have to worry about game updates or anything like that. They just want to push it on, play game. And that's who consoles is for. That's who it's always been for. But
AMD has already announced its new chipset for these guys. I'm pretty sure by the time PlayStation 6 comes out, there'll be another chipset. At this point, handhelds will have enough power to match consoles. And then you just go to the store, you buy that, you put on a good gaming OS, Microsoft, and you play.
But that was the thing I was saying. Like, the consoles are there for those people who don't want to have to go and hunt down an operating system, who don't want to have to worry about getting NVIDIA drivers or AMD drivers or anything like that. They just want to push the on button and play the game.
That's why I said at that point Steam has already said that they're going to put Steam OS on the ROG Ally. And we've been bitching at Microsoft for years to do this. And now that you can actually install stuff on here, this acts like a upgraded Steam Deck. No Windows, no nothing. 5 years guaranteed they'll be running the world. Especially in markets like Japan.
And Sony's going to, with the way that they're going with their pricing and the hardware revisions, they're going to push people towards PCs and things like the ROG Ally and stuff like that. And they're eventually going to price themselves out of the market.
Also, by the way, I want to say, I love you guys. Not you guys. I love you guys anyway. But I love you guys out there. But you can play PC games on a couch. Please stop saying you can't. I will come and kill you. I won't come and kill you, but that's
most PC games these days come with controller support.
Yeah, there's
if you want to do this,
those are a little more difficult to find controller support in.
Well, one of the games that I'm reviewing at the moment has a pop-up that starts at the game going, "This game is best played with a controller. Please plug your controller
I love
in."
when games do that.
Half Exile 2 has controller support.
That's the thing. Like, I have my Xbox controller plugged into my PC at all times because there are games that I'll play on the PC that I will play with a controller. So why do I need to bother with a console anymore? Since upgrading my PC, and thanks to Keith for sending me a really good graphics card.
Surprise!
Some things do reach him. No.
It's one of those things of I barely touch my consoles anymore. I only use my consoles for review codes only at this point.
An Astrobot.
I don't own Astrobot. I haven't got Astrobot. No, I didn't get it in a review code or anything. So, and I'm PAX bound. So
yeah.
Money. But yeah, like a lot of stuff I will play more on PC nowadays than I will play on console.
Speaking of which, are you going to play Space Marine 2?
You going to buy it for me?
I got to see if it has spiders in it first. Then I'll buy it for you.
Okay.
We're not repeating that Demon Souls again.
No.
We're not doing that.
No. But yeah, it looks interesting. I will admit.
It's fun. Yeah. Oh, fucking fun.
But we should close up the Sony bashing for 1 week.
Well, I'm not bashing Sony. It's just common sense and being logical. It's not saying, well, Sony sucks because No.
We have reasons for saying so.
Exactly. That's not bashing. That's being legit.
Yeah,
it's fine to criticize what you don't like as long as you don't make it your personality.
that is exactly it. Like tribalism at its finest.
Yeah, so we'll be talking more about this later on. Trust me.
Yeah, if so Karl didn't forget about the PlayStation 5 Pro and just get Astrobot instead.
Look at this guy showing Astrobot.
Scott,
look at this guy.
Scott, Go
Yes.
fuck yourself.
Anyway, that is the end of the show.
$150 for that goddamn controller here, by the way.
Well, you can't. You know what? That's okay because you can't buy
That's
it.
if you can get a hold of it.
Yeah, I got it. Luckily, I just stayed in the queue for like 2 hours and I got it finally.
You know what I could do? I could take this and just put like blue here and it'd be the same fucking thing.
Honestly, I actually really like the little plates on here they have. The plates actually add a little more.
Are they
You know what?
still like embezzled with the PlayStation stuff on there, or is it a smooth?
No,
clear
it's
plastic?
not embezzled. Like it's actually a plate. Like the PlayStation stuff is under here, and then there's like a plate over it.
Okay.
You know, it'd be awesome if Sony had a PlayStation design lab like Xbox does. Maybe you
That
could
would be
make those
fantastic.
controllers. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Myself, Keith, Karl in the middle, Scott on the side of the Astrobox controller. I'm not going to piss off Karl anymore. So we're going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. As always, if you like our content, check us out at theouterhaven.net. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Leave a rating there. We really appreciate that. Check us out on YouTube because there is no more Google Podcasts. It's Buzzsprout. And everywhere else you find great gaming podcasts. As always, say hi to us over on Twitter because I'm not going to call it X. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.